Hello. I bring the Cuyahoga County Human Resources Appointment and Equity Committee to order. Let's see, Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. Please call the roll.
As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county YouTube page. Calling the roll for Ms. Baker.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Sweeney. Ms. Conwell. Ms. Conwell is absent at the moment. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Are there any public comments?
No, Madam Chair, no one has signed in.
Okay. So we have the approval of the minutes. If you've had a chance to take a look at the minutes, may I have a motion to accept?
I so move.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no nays, the minutes are approved. Clerk, please read the matters referred to committee.
Resolution 2022-0376, adopting various changes to the Cuyahoga County Non-Bargaining Classification Plan.
Hello, please state your name for the record.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I'm Albert Bouchahine, Manager of Classification and Compensation from the Personnel Review Commission. Before you, this resolution is class plan maintenance and the introduction of new classifications for the County Planning Commission that were recommended and approved to you by the PRC at their October 5th, 2022 meeting. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for our guest today? Yes, go right ahead, Mr. Sweeney. Did you have a question? Or?
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, go right ahead, Councilman Miller.
My question is about the two classifications that are being deleted. Are there any employees that are performing the same duties that was in that classification? And if so, are those people in classified, other classified positions or in unclassified positions?
Madam Chair, to Councilman Miller, these positions have been vacant for quite some time. The department does not intend to fill them in the future. If there are any responsibilities that needed to be filled, they are being performed by other classified employees.
Okay, thank you. Could you say something about the new classifications and why they're needed?
Sure. Madam Chair, Councilman Miller, we've been working with the Planning Commission for several years to incorporate them in the county's non-bargaining classification plan. The Planning Commission is referenced in the county charter as a county agency. We have a legal opinion from the county prosecutor authorizing us or essentially saying that they are part of the county's class plan. The Planning Commission sought also an outside independent legal opinion which stated that their employees are classified and subject to PRC testing.
So, are you saying that currently the Planning Commission does not have any classified positions?
Madam Chair to Councilman, they do have classified positions. They just are not part of our class plan. It's just like when the new form of government took place, we didn't really have positions for the auditor's office or positions for the coroner's office. We had to create those, and that's what we're doing here. We're creating planner positions, and these employees will be slotted into those positions.
And are these positions the same as they have in their own system, or did we make some modifications?
Madam Chair, Councilman, they are essentially the same positions. All the positions are filled.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, we appreciate that explanation and good questions, Councilman.
Madam Chair, we've been working on this for several years, and I am requesting second reading suspension to get this approved, please.
All right, so may I have a motion to move this item to the full body of council for second reading passage?
Second.
On suspension of the rules. Motion,
Second.
second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing any nays? This is passed.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may call the roll for Ms. Conwell.
Present.
Thank you.
All Right.
Resolution 2022-0377, adopting various changes to the Cuyahoga County non-bargaining classification plan for Sheriff's Department.
Albert Pushaheen again with the Personnel Review Commission. These recommended classification modifications were approved also at the October PRC meeting. And these are a result of the Sheriff's Department creating an HR department within that department. Currently, those classifications only reference human resources. So we just modified the classifications to include Sheriff's Department. So they now say HR and Sheriff's Department. And I am requesting second reading suspension as the Sheriff's Department would like to get these posted and filled as soon as possible.
Okay. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes. Go right ahead, Councilman. Yes.
Do we anticipate that most of the people who fill these positions will be people who move over from existing positions in the HR department?
Madam Chair, to Councilman Miller, I can't answer that specific question, but I know the HR director and the sheriff are here along with their sheriff's HR administrator if they'd like to respond to that.
Good morning. Most of these positions will be new. These are newly created positions.
Excuse me, can you state your name for the record, please?
Steve Hammett.
Thank you.
So, do we anticipate then that this is going to result in an increase in the total number of people doing HR work in HR plus the sheriff's office? Because you're going to have the same employees that you currently have in HR, plus you're going to add these new people in the sheriff's office. Is that correct?
Councilman, I'm not sure about the total number, but some of these will be newly created positions.
Madam Chair, do we have somebody from HR who might be able to give some
see,
clarification on
yes.
what the impact is going to be on the HR department staffing level?
Good morning, Council. Sarah Namastola. I'm the new HR administrator for the Sheriff's Department Human Resources Office. So these positions that Mr. Bouchahine has in the legislation encompass people who are currently employed in the Sheriff's Department Office of Human Resources who were there prior to this change, as well as additional positions that are already part of our class plan, but we need more people in order to get our work done properly and efficiently.
Madam Chair, Councilman Miller, Albert Bouchaheen again. I just wanted to make clear that these positions that they do hire would be Sheriff's Department employees, not the Department of Human Resources employees.
So, my question is whether, as a result of the Sheriff's Department taking over this function, do we anticipate that the total head count in the Human Resources Department is going to be fewer than it was previously because the Sheriff's Department is taking over this aspect?
So, Sheba Marshall, Human Resources. So we anticipate that there will be more employees added first to the sheriff because the amount of employees that were transferred over are not sufficient for them to get the work done that they need done as it relates to human resources functions. As it relates to the current HR department, there may be a couple of additional staff added as we lost some employees to the sheriff's function. The reason is that they weren't always independent of each other. Sometimes they shared responsibilities, sometimes they contacted each other to help on various cases. So while they were assigned to the sheriff, they may have been helping in areas outside of the sheriff. So now as they are separated, we need to have enough staff to do the things that we need to do, and then the sheriff needs to have enough staff to do what it is that they need to do. So we do anticipate that the numbers for HR will increase.
So my question is, under the new program, how will the total number of employees doing human resources work in the Human Resources Department and the Sheriff's Office compare with the number that you had just in Human Resources prior to this change?
I don't have that with me, but I think that we can present org charts for both HR departments. I think we can produce org charts for you. And I think that will answer your question as to how many bodies are in the sheriff's reporting directly to the sheriff's HR, and then how many bodies are reporting to the HR that I'm in.
I would appreciate if you could provide that information.
Absolutely.
I presume that you could provide it to the clerk, who could send it to all of us.
We can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Sheriff, you ain't going nowhere. Get back up here, please. Sheriff, thanks for coming back. I didn't mean no offense to that. I was just
Oh, no,
trying
no.
to show my
None taken.
personality a little bit. I'm gonna start with, maybe glory days are here. Thank you, Lord, and it's about time. And through the chair, how is this gonna help you manage and run our county jail?
Well, one of the problems or challenges we've had with the Sheriff's Department is the hiring, retention, recruiting, hiring, and retention of corrections officers. We do believe with the programs that we're in the process of implementing with our new HR department, that it will help us hire and retain corrections officers. We're in the process of developing as I discussed before, a cadet program that will give corrections officers an opportunity to test for the deputy positions. We believe that this will help with retention because they have to be there for 2 years before they can test for it. And retention alone will help us better manage the jail under our current staffing level. So one area, our primary area, is retention and hiring and retention. So that's our biggest
Chairwoman?
challenge, and that's what we hope to address with this.
I'm gonna take it a step further. It's gonna give you the opportunity to run the jail like you want to, without having your hands tied a little bit, like I've learned since I've been here until this point.
It'll give me more flexibility. Yes.
And through the chair, more flexibility will be good.
Yes.
I just want you to run this jail the way I know you can, without your hands tied. And on a very serious note, we've been through a long journey
Yes.
with the jail process on many different fronts. It seems like the new facility is coming to a theater near us soon, but we know what the current jail is like through other people's discussion. And I think this is one very important step that hopefully many, many other steps will be taken to put the jail in the way that is satisfied to you. And once it's satisfied to you, I believe it's going to be satisfied to everyone.
And this is an important step.
Yes. But I don't want it to stop here, from my humble position of District 3 here, because that was my whole take on the journey that we had. It's wherever it is, but we can't stop trying to do what we can. And it might be 2 weeks, it might be 2 years. And I think you're sticking around for a long time. So good luck. If I can help or we can help, don't be shy. But I'd really like this opportunity for you to choose the folks that are going to work with you to take care of your responsibilities and the inmates that are there.
Thank you.
Very
Your
much,
support is
Madam Chairwoman.
appreciated.
Councilman Gallagher.
Thank you, Sheriff. Retention and recruitment's important, but as we spoke 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, advancement from within, specifically our minority candidates. So you're going to have a person that's going to be handling that in your organization?
We're going to develop a committee based on the outline that we developed.
Committees don't work.
I don't know.
No, I can tell you, I've been here 12 years, they don't work. What works is an individual, no, and not in employment. Obviously, I've been the one complaining about an elected sheriff. It's, I think you identified the major flaw is that you said, well, this gives me a little bit of leeway or a little bit of room. An elected sheriff would have complete and utter control, carte blanche to do what they want, and answer to the people of Cuyahoga County if it's fallen apart. We've had 11 and a half years of it falling apart. I don't know if that's an indication of the individuals that we had. I think it's an indication that this system does not work. And people better wake up because this has not worked. A sheriff cannot be under the thumb of anybody but the sheriff. The sheriff should be able to walk in that door and everybody stand at attention. We don't have that right now. I'm not certain we ever had that till we had our old sheriff. And that was more of a fear factor than anything else, if you can recall. But anyhow, I'm very interested, not just on recruitment, but I'm also and retention, which is very important. But the advancement from within, I don't see it. I honestly don't see the concern that at the level I wish it were. And I think an elected sheriff would have taken care of this without needing leeway or an ability to have some breathing room. So I think this is a step in the right direction, but I hope you have a carve out specifically for minority hirings, candidates, and advancement from within and from without, because there's plenty of good candidates out there to make this more of a working machine. And again, you know, my thing and my passion is to get it elected. I have to convince my friends here on the council to do that. I know the two executive candidates have said that's their priority. Going forward, we shall find out, but they will have an ally in me to do that. And I think 11 and a half years of this nonsense has shown us that this does not work. So I wish you best of luck.
And to your point, Mr. Gallagher, I believe that retention, whether it's elected or appointed, will help, because if people aren't here long enough to accelerate through the ranks, then it becomes a challenge for an elected sheriff also. So we have to retain employees so we can prepare them, mentor them, and so to speak, escort them through the ranks, prepare them for more responsibility. So that's what we hope to do.
All right. Through the chair this is directed toward Director Marshall. Good morning. So I just want to be clear. So the classifications, the proposed classifications that are before us,
Yes.
I see that they were previously human resource. They're over here.
Right.
If they should move over, if the council as a whole vote for it to move over, how would this impact your department and your day-to-day operations?
So because we shared, like I said, some of the sheriff's department employees, the HR department, there were employees that were used sometimes outside of the sheriff's office. They would bounce ideas off each other, or if they had cases they need to handle. It'll make us a few people short. It won't by any means cripple the operations or anything like that, but it will make us a few people short, make the workload a little harder. So we're looking to fill maybe 3, 4 positions to take the place of the ones that we're losing. But we can still get the work done. We're still getting the work done.
Okay, so why did we make that decision to hurt, not hurt, that's not the right word, but to I'm going to use hurt in this case.
No, it was a good decision. We made that decision because it's exactly like Councilman Sweeney said. The sheriff's department is unique, and they have special needs. They have a culture they have to develop to get the work done. It starts with the HR department. When you have a broad HR like we have, sometimes it doesn't get the dedication that it needs. Sarah Nemastil is now the HR administrator. She can now focus on what it is specific needs to the sheriff, specific to the culture, to retention, to the recruitment, to the development of employees. That is now a central focus by one person, sort of guiding the rest of the department under, of course, the leadership of the sheriff. So it's a good thing because it's what's needed. You know, the sheriff's department makes the news on a regular basis, and the presumption is there are other things going on other than, and I don't know, because I've only been here 2 years. But now I think with this, having their own HR department, doing the work that they need to do, targeted for the people they need to target, I think it's a good idea. And I think it's going to help them tremendously.
Do you have employees, are the employees willing to make this move?
So what we did is we simply took the employees that were currently working as a support to the sheriff and simply moved them to the reporting structure of the sheriff.
So will that mean that they will change offices or no?
I don't know. That'll be up to the sheriff to decide.
Do they have the space? Yeah, these kind of questions, and the reason I ask is because we kind of sometimes look at what our needs are and how we can make, and which we should,
Right.
how we make things efficient for county operations.
Right.
And we don't have that little inclusive conversation with the actual employees that have to move. So I was just wondering if if they were going to have to do a shift, parking changes, all that kind of stuff starts to play, just to make sure that, they're aware of that. It's not going to start a snowball. Well, I wasn't happy for this move, so I'm going to leave and go to another job, and then we've lost on both. So I was just wondering if you guys had even considered that. And then are these upper management positions? Are these classifications upper management positions? So when we talk about equity and things of that nature, we also have a problem with minorities being in upper management positions, getting a decent wage. So I don't know if you or the sheriff could answer that question.
I probably would leave that to the sheriff to answer. I can just say that these are the positions that reported directly to me before. So they're HR generalists, they're HR associates, employee and labor relations specialists.
Are they considered upper management?
They are not. They are considered employees, not upper management employees. An HR manager, so possibly, but I don't know what level, how far up you're talking when you say upper management.
Madam Chair, to Councilman Conwell, as Director Marshall said, these are really essentially HR support staff. They wouldn't be considered executive level positions such as Ms. Nemastil's, who's an unclassified employee. These are classified employees that would be occupying these positions.
Okay, I just wanted the committee to understand that the difference in equity, just having a body there that's of African American descent doesn't necessarily help in moving up steps and all that. So, all right, thank you.
Okay. I noticed on the proposed revised classifications that it says several positions. So and several positions all the way through. Do you know how many employees we're talking about?
For the sheriff's staff?
I mean, are there?
I think that's us going to provide you that org chart later on today or before the week's out, for sure.
That'll be provided?
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? I think we are all glad to see that this has progressed to this point. I do believe it's a needed step to give the sheriff the tools that he needs to be able to employ and take care of the jail as we all know that it needs to be. So if there's no other.
In regards to the budget, and I don't know, Madam Chair, who it would be directed to, but how many does the sheriff's budget have enough to accommodate these changes? Okay.
Answer is yes.
Okay.
Madam Chair, also would like to request second reading suspension for these as well.
All right, so can I have a motion to move this item to full body of the council for second reading passage under suspension of the rules?
Mike, you
moved.
don't?
I was gonna give it to you.
Second. I thought Mike would want to jump on that.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hearing no nays. This has been passed. And
Thank you.
congratulations, Sheriff. Congratulations to all of you for your hard work on this. All right, do we have any miscellaneous business?
Oh.
Hearing none. Meeting is adjourned.
Okay.